1, 2.
Okay. Hello. Okay, what we'll do is that first I'll quickly read the text, and while I'm reading the text, just try to follow and see if you can understand as much as possible. Okay, the chapter 8, the handout. I'm just slowly going to read this, and even if you think you are not getting something, just pay attention. Pay attention and see, try your best to reflect on meanings as I'm reading. And you don't need to read, just they follow that. I guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life. The Sanskrit Bodhisattva Charavatara, composed by Bodhisattva Shanti, chapter 8. Chapter 8, meditation. The title of the chapter is meditation. So we see that it is broken into two halves. It is broken into two halves. The first half is, what should we do? What kind of conditions should we create for meditation? To create a conducive meditation, the environment for meditation. External environment and internal environment. External environment referring to the place where you are. Internal environment referring to your mental state. The mind should be isolated from distractions, attachment to the people and so forth. So, and then the second half talks about what to meditate. What to meditate at is meditate on bodhicitta. Okay. Having developed enthusiasm this way, I should place my mind in a concentration for the man or for the person whose mind is distracted, dwells between the fangs of disturbing conceptions. But through solitude of body and mind, no distraction will occur. Therefore, I should forsake the worldly life and completely discard distorted conceptions, meaning the conception here is afflictions. Worldly life is not forsaken because of attachment to people and due to craving for material gain and the like. Therefore, I should entirely forsake these things, for this is the way in which the wise behave. Having understood that disturbing conception or afflictions are completely overcome by superior insight, which is special insight, endowed with calm abiding shamatha, first of all, I should search for calm abiding. This is achieved through the genuine joy of those unattached to worldly life. Because of the obsession the transcendent being, the sentient beings, has for other the transcendent beings, he will not see his beloved ones again for many thousands of lives. Not seeing them as I'm unhappy, and my mind cannot be settled in equipoise. Even if I see them there's no satisfaction, and as before, I'm tormented by craving. Through being unattached to living beings, I'm completely obscured from the perfect reality. My disillusion with cyclic existence perishes, and in the end, I'm tortured by sorrow. By thinking only of them, this life will pass without any meaning. Furthermore, impermanent friends and relatives will even destroy the Dharma, which leads to permanent liberation. Oftentimes this happens. So when you go to Dharma, then your relatives, friends, they would dissuade you, saying that you are too young to go to Dharma. So these are the distractions. 9. If I behave in the same way as the childish, I certainly proceed to the lower realms. And if I'm led there by those unequal to the noble ones, what's the use of entrusting myself to the childish? So we need to distinguish between whose thinking is low and whose thinking are more sophisticated. Those thinking low, you should not be persuaded by them. Sometimes even the age-wise older, but thinking is very lowly, meaning that very childish, and under such situation where you are going the right direction, even as otherwise seen as elders, seniors, so forth, and supposed to be more learned, but in actuality they can be very, very mundane and childish. So We should not be carried away by this childish. 10. One moment, what is childish? One moment they are friends, and the next instant they become enemies. Since they become angry when in joyful situations, that it's difficult to please ordinary beings. They are angry when something of benefit is said, and they also turn me away from what is beneficial. If I do not listen to what they say, they become angry and hence proceed to lower realms. They are envious of superiors. These are the childish behaviors. They are envious of superiors, competitive with equals, arrogant towards inferiors, conceited when praised, and if anything unpleasant is said, they become angry. Never is any benefit derived from the childish. Through associating with the childish, there will certainly ensue unwholesomeness, such as praising myself and belittling others and discussing the joys of secular existence. Devoting myself to others in this way will bring about nothing but misfortune. Because they will not benefit me, I shall not benefit them. So this is where the people whose thing is very low and he will dissuade you from Dharma. So we need to dissociate yourself from these people. Otherwise, we cannot really engage into the Dharma and the meditation. 15. I should flee far away from childish people. When they're encountered, though I should please them by being happy, should behave well, merely out of courtesy, but not become greatly familiar. In the same way as a bee takes honey from a flower, I should take merely what is necessary for the practice of Dharma, but remain unfamiliar as though I had never seen them before. I have much material wealth as well as honor, and many people like me, nurturing self-importance in this way. I shall be made terrified after death. So your thoroughly confused mind, by the piling up of whatever objects you attach to, misery of thousandfold will ensue. Hence, the wise should not be attached, because the fear is born from attachment. With a firm mind, understand well that it's the nature of these things to be discarded. Although I may have much material wealth, be famous and well spoken of, whatever fame and renown I have amassed has no power to accompany me after death. If there is someone who despises me, so sometimes we feel demoralized when people deprecate you. Sometimes we feel arrogant when people praise you. So how to strike a balance? 21. If there is someone who despises me, what pleasure can I have in being praised? And if there is another who praises me, what displeasure can I have in being despised? If you the conqueror was unable to please the various inclinations of different people, then what need to mention of evil persons such as I? Therefore, I should give out the intention to associate with the worldly. They scorn those who have no material gain, and say bad things about those who do. How can they who are by nature so hard to get along with ever derive any pleasure from me? It has been said by the Tathagatas that one should not befriend the childish, because unless they get their own way, these children are never happy. 25. When shall I come to dwell in forests? Now seeing that the demerits of associating with the childish, so you see the benefit of isolating yourself and going into a place of the solitude. And of course, it's not necessary that you have to go there, but the message is to dissociate from the childish people. When shall I come to dwell in forests amongst the deers, the benefit of the solitude? Deer, the birds and trees that say nothing unpleasant and are delightful to associate with. When dwelling in caves, in empty shrines, and at the foot of trees, never look back, cultivated detachment. When shall I come to dwell in places not clung to as mine, which are by nature wide and open, and where I may behave as I wish without attachment? When shall I come to live without fear, having just a begging bowl and a few odd things, wearing clothes not wanted by anyone, and not even having to hide this body? Having departed to the cemeteries, when shall I come to understand that this body of mine and the skeletons of others are equal in being subject to decay? Then because of its odor, not even the foxes will come close to this body of mine, for this body will become of it. Although this body arose as one thing, the bones and flesh with which it was created will break up and separate. How much more so will friends and others? At birth I was born alone, and at death too I shall die alone. As this pain cannot be shared by others, what use of obstacle-making friends? In the same way as travelers on a highway leave one place and reach another, likewise those traveling on the path of conditioned existence, which is samsara, leave one birth and reach another, until the time comes for this body to be supported by four pallbearers. When you die, we are carried in the stretcher, while the worldly stand around stricken with grief. Until then, I shall retire to the forest. Befriending no one and begrudging no one, my body will dwell alone in the solitude, and I'm already counted as a dead man. When I die, there will be no mourners. And as there will be no one around to disturb me with their mourning, thus there will be no one to distract me from my recollections of the Buddha. Therefore, I shall dwell alone, happy and contented with few difficulties, is very joyful and beautiful forest, pacifying all distractions. Having given up all other intentions, being motivated by only one thought, I shall strive to settle my mind in equipoise by means of calm abiding, or to subdue it with superior insight. Both in this world and the next, desires give rise to great misfortune. In this life, killing, bondage, and fleeing. In the next life, the existence of the hells. For the sake of the opposite gender, many requests are first of all made between go-betweens. All forms of evil and even notoriety are not avoided for their sake. I engage in fearful deeds for them, and will even consume my wealth and these very bodies of others that I greatly enjoy in the union. Are nothing other than skeletons. They are not autonomous and are identityless. Rather than being so desirous and completely obsessed, why do I not go to the state beyond sorrow, nirvana? In the first place, I made efforts to lift the opposite gender's veil, and when it was raised, she bashfully looked down. And previously, whether anyone looked or not, her face was covered with a cloth. But now, why do I run away upon really beholding this face that disturbs the mind, as it is being revealed to me by the vultures? Previously, that is after the death. Previously, I completely protected her body. When others cast their eyes upon it, why, miser, do you not protect it now, while it is being devoured by these birds? Since vultures and others are eating this pile of meat that I behold, why did I offer flower garlands, sandalwood, and ornaments to that which is now the food of others? If I'm frightened by the skeletons I see, even though they do not move, why am I not frightened by walking corpses, which are moved around by few impulses? Although I'm attached to it when it's covered with skin, why do I not desire it when it is uncovered? Since I have no need for it, then why copulate with it when it's covered? Since both excrement and saliva arise solely from food, why do I dislike excrement and find joy in saliva? Cotton too is soft to the touch, but while I find the sexual desire in a pillow, I think that the body does not emit a putrid odor. Lustful one, you are confused as what is unclean, thinking that they cannot sleep with the cotton, although it is soft to be touched. Confused, negative, and lustful people become angry towards it instead. If I'm not attached to the unclean, then why do I copulate with lower parts of others' bodies, which are merely cages of bones tied together with muscles, plastered over with the mud of flesh? I myself contain many unclean things, which I constantly experience. So why, because of the obsession for uncleanliness, do I desire other bags of filth? But it is the flesh that I enjoy. This is what I wish to touch and behold. Why do I not desire in its natural state, devoid of any mind? Furthermore, any mind that I may desire is unable to be touched or behold, and whatever I am able to touch will not be mental. So why indulge in this meaningless copulation? It is not so strange that I do not understand the bodies of others to be of unclean nature, but it is indeed strange that I do not understand why my very own body to be by nature unclean. Having forsaken the young lotus flower, unfolded by means of sunlight free of cloud, why with the mind craving for what is unclean, do I revel in a cage of filth? Since I do not wish to touch a place that is smeared with excrement, then why do I wish to touch the body from which the excrement arose? If I'm not attached to what is unclean, why do I copulate with the lower parts of Earth's bodies, which arise from the unclean field of the womb and are produced by the seeds within it? I have no wish for a small, dirty maggot which has come from a pile of filth, So why do I desire this body which by nature is grossly unclean? For it too was produced for filth. Not only do I not disparage the uncleanness of my body, but because of an obsession of what is unclean, I desire other bags of filth as well. So this is the males, to think of the females. Females think of the males, same way. 62. Even attractive things such as savory foods, cooked rice and vegetables, make the ground dirty and unclean should they spat out after being in the mouth. Although such uncleanness is obvious, if I still have doubts, I should go to the cemeteries and look at the unclean bodies of others that have been thrown away there. Having realized that when the skin is rent open, they give rise to a great deal of fear, how will such things as these ever again give rise to joy? The sense with which somebody's body is anointed are sacred and the like, but not that of the other's body. So why am I attached to others' bodies? Because of a sense that are other than theirs. Since the body has a naturally foul odor, isn't it good to be unattached to it? Why do those who crave for the meaningless things of the world anoint this body with pleasant scents? And furthermore, if it is the pleasant scent of sandalwood, how can it come from the body? So why am I attached to the others' bodies? Because of scents that are other than theirs. Since the naked body left in its natural state is very frightening due to its long hair and nails, its yellowish foul-smelling teeth, and its being coated with the odor of dirt, why do I make such an effort to polish it like cleaning a weapon that will cause me harm? Hence the entire world is disturbed with insanity due to the exertions of those who are confused about themselves. When my mind arises above worldly concerns through having beholden nothing but skeletons in the cemetery, will there be any joy in graveyard cities which are filled with moving skeletons? Furthermore, these unclean female, the bodies of the opposite gender are not found without paying a price. In order to obtain them, I exhaust myself, and in future will be injured in the hells. As a child, I'm unable to increase my wealth, and as a youth, what can I do? Being unable to consort. At the end of life, when I have the wealth, being an old man, what good will the sex be then? Some even lustful people wear themselves out of working a whole day, and when they return home in the evening, the exhausted bodies lie prostrate like corpses. Some have the suffering of being disturbed by travel and having to go a long way from home. Although they long for their spouses, they do not see them for years at a time. And some who wish for benefit due to confusion even sell themselves for the sake of women and the like, but not attaining what they wish. They are aimlessly driven by the winds of others' actions. Some sell their own bodies and without any power are employed by others. Even when their wives give birth, their children fall at the feet of the trees and in lonely places. Some fools who are deceived by desire, wishing for a livelihood, think, I shall earn my living as a soldier. Then, although afraid of losing their lives, they go to war and become slaves for the sake of profit. Some lustful people even cut their bodies, others impale themselves on a point of sticks. Some stab themselves with daggers, and others burn themselves. Such things as these are quite apparent. Due to the torment involved in collecting it, protecting and finally losing it, I should realize wealth to be fraught and within the finite problems, with infinite problems. Those who are distracted by the attachment to it have no opportunity to gain freedom from miseries of conditioned existence. In the same way as animals drawing carriages are only able to eat a few mouthfuls of grass, likewise desirous people have many disadvantages such as these and little profit. And since even animals can obtain what little profit, those who are pained by their previous actions waste their leisures and endowments, waste their life, are so difficult to find for the sake of something trivial that is not so scarce. The objects of desire will certainly perish, and then I shall fall into hellish states. But Buddhahood itself is attained with just 1/1,000,000 of the difficulty involved in continually exhausting myself for the sake of what is not very great. Hence, the desirous experience great misery than those following the awakening of life. But for them, there is no awakening. When having contemplated the miseries of hell, it will be clear that there's nothing comparable to the harm caused by desirous beings, by weapons, poison, fire, ravens, and force. Having in this way developed a disillusion with desire, I should generate joy for solitude. The fortunate ones stroll in peaceful forests devoid of dispute and disturbing conceptions and afflictions. They live in joyful houses of vast flat stones, cooled by the sandal-scented moonlight, fanned by the peaceful silent forest breeze. Think of what is of benefit of others. They dwell for as long as they wish in empty houses, at the feet of trees in caves. Having abandoned the pain of clinging to and guarding possessions, they abide independent, free of care. Living as they choose, desireless, having no ties with anyone, even the powerful have difficulty finding a life as happy and content as this. Having in such ways as these, though I thought about the excellence of the solitude, I should completely pacify distorted conceptions and meditate in awakened mind. So 89 down. So thus far is creating as solitude in mind and physical solitude means solitude from the childish people and a disturbing environment. Now what should you meditate? We should meditate on the awakened mind, bodhicitta. Now the bodhicitta is explained. 90. First of all, I should make an effort to meditate upon the equality between self and others. Of the 9 steps, the first one. Self and others, I should protect all beings as to myself, because we are all equal in wanting pleasure and not wanting pain. Although there are many different parts and aspects, such as the hands, as a body that is to be protected, they are one. Likewise, all the different sentient beings, in their pleasure and their pain, have the wish to be happy that is the same as mine. The suffering that I experience doesn't cause any harm to others, but the suffering is mine because of my conceiving of myself as I. Thereby, it becomes unbearable. Likewise, the misery of others does not befall me. Nevertheless, by conceiving of others as I, their suffering becomes mine. Therefore, it too should be hard to bear. Hence, I should dispel the misery of others because it is suffering, just like my own. And I should benefit others because they are sentient beings just like myself. 95. When both myself and others are similar in that we wish to be happy, what is so special about me? Why do I strive for my happiness alone? And when both myself and others are similar in what we do not wish to suffer, what is so special about me? Why do I protect myself and not others? But why should I protect them if their suffering doesn't cause me any harm? And then why protect myself against future suffering if it causes me no harm now? It is mistaken conception to think that I shall experience the suffering of my next life, for it is another person who dies and another that will be reborn. Surely whenever there is suffering, the sufferer must protect himself from it, but the suffering of the foot is not that of the hand. Why then does it protect it? Although this may not be justified, it is done because of grasping at itself. But surely whatever is not justified for myself or others should at all costs be rejected. Such things as a continuum, an aggregation, are false. So the way we see things, see ourselves as a flower, as a person, as a bead, and so forth, this is just a perception. Objectively, there's nothing there. Objectively, we are all just equal in intrinsic reality. 101. Such things as continuum and aggregation are false. In the same way as a rosary and an army, there is no real owner of suffering, therefore who has control over it? Being no inherent owner of suffering, there can be no distinction at all between that of myself and others. Thus I shall dispel it because it hurts. Why am I so certain that I shouldn't eliminate the suffering of others? But since neither the suffering nor the sufferer truly exists, why should I turn away the misery of all? This is no ground for argument, for if I prevent my own suffering, surely I should prevent the suffering of all. If not, since I'm just like other sentient beings, I should not prevent my own suffering either. But since this compassion will bring me much misery, then the question raises that if I practice compassion, then I already have so much pain. Now with compassion, I feel more pain. But since this compassion will bring me much misery, why should I exert myself to develop it? Should I contemplate the suffering of living creatures, other sentient beings? How could the misery of compassion be more? The suffering of many would be destroyed. Surely kind-hearted people would accept it for the sake of themselves and others. Thus the Bodhisattva Supuchandra, although aware of the harm the king would cause him, accepted his own suffering in order to eradicate the miseries of many. Thus, because he loves to pacify the pains of others, he whose mind is attuned in this way never would enter even the deepest hell, just as a wild goose plunges into the lotus pool. Will not the ocean of joy that shall exist even when all beings are free be sufficient for me? What am I doing wishing for my liberation alone? Therefore, although working for the benefit of others, I should not be conceited or consider myself wonderful. And because of the joy there is in solely doing this, I should have no hope for any ripening effect, no expectation of return. Therefore, just as I protect myself from unpleasant things, however small, in the same way I should act towards others with a compassionate and caring mind. Although the basis is quite impersonal, meaning your body, we have so much of habituation to the body. This is mine. His body actually came from your parents, it's not yours, from the parents. But then through familiarity, we see this as this mine. Likewise, is taught how to feel all sentient beings as mine through familiarization. 111. Although the basis is quite impersonal, meaning the body is quite impersonal, through constant familiarity, I have come to regard the drops of spun blood of others as mine. So in the same way, why should I be unable to regard the bodies of others as I? Hence, it is not difficult to see that my body is also that of others. Having seen the mistakes in cherishing myself and the ocean of good in cherishing others, I shall completely reject all selfishness and accustom myself to accepting others. In the same way as the hands and so forth are regarded as limbs of the body, likewise why are embodied creatures not regarded as limbs of life? Through acquaintance has the thought of I arisen towards this impersonal body, which you got from your parents. So in a similar way, why should it not arise towards other living beings? When I work in this way for the sake of others, I should not let conceit or the feeling that I'm wonderful arise. It's just like feeding myself. I hope for nothing in return. So the Bodhisattva's practice is that whatever good things that we do, it must be done without expectation in return. 117. Therefore, just as I protect myself from unpleasant things, however slight, in the same way, I should habituate myself to have a compassionate and caring mind for others. It is out of His great compassion that the Lord Avalokiteshvara has even blessed his name to dispel the nervousness of beings amongst other people, being among other people. I should not turn away from what is difficult, for by the power of familiarity, I may be made unhappy even when someone whose name once frightened me is not around. Thus, whoever wishes to quickly effort protection to both myself and others, I should practice that holy secret exchange of self and others. So this practice of exchanging self and others, this is to be maintained as secret, confidential. For the reason that if you share this with other people, many people will may feel that this is something deplorable or this is something something impractical, and they may feel aversion to this practice. So therefore, it should be maintained confidential. 121. Because of attachment to my body, even a small object of fear frightens me. So who would not revile as an enemy this body that gives rise to fear? By wishing for a means to remedy the hunger, thirst, sickness of the body, I might kill birds, fish, and deer, and loiter by the sides of the road to rob others. If for the sake of its profit and comfort, I would kill even my father and mother and steal all their property of the triple gem, then I would undoubtedly proceed to burn in the flames of the deepest hell. Therefore, what wise man would desire, protect, and venerate this body? Who would not scorn it and regard it as enemy? If I get this, what shall I have left to enjoy? Such selfish thinking is the way of the ghost. If I enjoy this, what shall I left to give? Such selfless thinking is the quality of the gods. If for my own sake I cause harm to others, I shall be tormented in the hellish realms. But if for the sake of others I cause harm to myself, I shall acquire all that is magnificent. By holding myself in high esteem, I shall find myself in unpleasant realms, ugly and stupid. But should this attitude be shifted to others, I shall acquire honors in the joyful realm. If I employ others for my own purposes, I I myself shall experience servitude. But if I use myself for the sake of others, I shall experience only lordliness. Whatever joy there is in this world, this is a summary. So whatever joy there is in this world, all comes from desiring others to be happy, and whatever suffering there is in this world, all comes from desiring myself to be happy. And then the two more passages or two more verses as a summary. But what need is there to say much more? The childish work for their own benefit, the Buddhas work for the benefit of all others. Just look at the difference between them. The Buddhas working for all others and achieving the highest of happiness, and the childish working for themselves and being deprived of all happiness. 131. If I do not exchange my happiness for the suffering of others, I shall not attain the state of Buddhahood. And even in cyclic existence, I shall have no joy. Let alone what is beyond this world, because of my servants doing no work, and because of my masters giving me no pay, even the needs of this life will not be fulfilled. But rejecting the method that establishes both foreseeable and unforeseeable joy, I cast magnificent delight completely aside, and then because of inflicting misery on others, in confusion I seize hold of unbearable pain. If all the injury, fear, and the pain in this world arise from grasping at the self, then what use is that great ghost to me? If I do not completely forsake it, I shall be unable to put an end to suffering, just as I cannot avoid being burnt if I do not cast aside the fire I hold. Therefore, in order to allay the harms inflicted upon me, and in order to pacify the suffering of others, I shall give myself up to others and cherish them as I do my very self. I'm under the control of others. Of this mind, you must be certain. Now, except for, now that you've already exchanged yourself for others, you start to see others as more important, and you cherish others more. Because as such, you become like a servant for others from your point of view. So therefore, you are telling yourself, I'm under the control of others. Of this mind, you must be certain. Now, except for benefiting every creature, you must not think of anything else. Your job is just to make everybody happy. For my own sake, I should not do anything. It doesn't mean that you don't do anything. If they're seeing selfish, motivated by selfishness, you don't do anything. With these eyes and so forth that I've left at the disposal of others, it's quite incorrect to do anything with them which is contrary to the benefit of others. Thus, sentient beings should be my main concern. Whatever I behold upon my body, I should rob and use for the benefit of others, considering lesser beings and so forth as myself. So this, in fact, is at the 139. Thus, sentient beings should be my main concern. Whatever I behold upon my body, I should rob and use for the benefit of others. So this, I see that there are some monks who are extremely, I can see them realized. So they do these things, and they are there just to benefit others. I like to share one anecdote regarding, but this is what you see. Bodhisattva Shantideva shared his experience. In the monastery, once there was the drought, the famine all over the village. So people become so desperate, and they, the stealing things become so rampant in the monastery because the villagers, they come to steal things. So there was one monk who was sleeping, and from the window, it was very hot, and the window opened, and there was, and he had a very beautiful, those days, one blanket which is produced from Korea, very beautiful one. And he was putting on the blanket, sleeping, and his blanket was going down. And he said, what happened? He pulled it. Again, it was going down. Again, he pulled it, going down. He saw that from the window, a thief was putting the blanket, and he was pulling it back, and the thief was pulling it that side. And finally, the thief succeeded. And the blanket, they stole it. And then the other monks, they came to sense that there was a thief, and they caught him. And they were saying that we're going to report you to police, so forth. A lot of hassles there. And then this monk went there, and said, what happened? A thief, right? Thief. And what did he steal? He stole your blanket. And he said, it's my blanket, it's not your blanket. He said, it's not your blanket. It's my issue, it's not your issue. Let him go. Wow, amazing. So he was spared. He was spared. So later this thief, people heard that this thief was telling the other villagers that if at all you want to steal, don't steal from this monk. This monk loves you more than he loves himself. So this is what you see in the text. You see that this is being implemented by these really realize. This is real Dharma. This is real Dharma. So we talk about very high realizations, tantra, mantra, and so forth, and in real life, they all relate to selfishness, nothing to do with. So this is real Dharma practice. Okay, if this happens, this is a mark of the success of Dharma. Okay. Okay, now the 139. Okay, 138. For my own sake, I should not do anything with these eyes. Okay, done. Okay, now from, I think, 140? Yes. Okay, so 140 down is like a technique taught whereby you, and others, all other sentient beings on two sides, and a replica of you remain as a judge between you and all the other sentient beings. And then you try to see, so who you are going to take side of which of the two. So you take side of the larger group, of course. Larger group is more important than the single individual. Who is that single individual? You. But you are judge also. So then you practice what is known as, so you're taking the side of all the sentient beings. You practice jealousy towards yourself, who is when he is seen as superior to the sentient beings, and competitiveness towards yourself when they is seen as equal to sentient beings, and then the looking down upon yourself when other sentient beings are seen as the more important, the superior to you. So this is a practice of jealousy, competitiveness, and the feeling of air of superiority. So in order to quell your self-centered attitude, it's a very, very smart technique employed. Okay, I'm going to just read this. 140. Considering the lesser beings and so forth as myself. Consider lesser beings, meaning all the other sentient beings, lesser beings and so forth as myself. Meaning all the other sentient beings as lesser, less important than me, more important than me, equal to me. So forth includes the two things. And considering myself as the other. So there are two techniques whereby you exchange the two and then try to compete. You are taking the side of sentient beings, and the sentient beings on you are seen as the other side, and actually you are seen as a sentient being, and this is why it's just change it, swap it one way. Number two is you as a judge, and sentient beings yourself there. Okay, His Holiness started the two techniques. Okay. Considering 140, considering lesser beings so forth as myself, and considering, so we should read this later more leisurely, and try to understand this. Considering lesser beings so forth as myself, and considering myself as other, in the following way I should meditate upon envy, competitiveness, and self-importance, with a mind free of distorted conceptions. He is honored, meaning he referring to yourself. He is honored, but I am not. I, referring to sentient beings, am not. I have not found wealth such as he. He is praised, but I am despised. He is happy, but I suffer. I have to do all the work while he remains comfortably at rest. He is renowned as great in this world, but as inferior, with no good qualities at all. But what do you mean? Now you consider you meaning sentient beings. You take the side of sentient beings, you consider yourself, saying, but what do you mean I have no good qualities? I have all good qualities. Compared to many, he is inferior. He, who is he? Yourself, put as he, or he or she. Compared to many, he is inferior, and compared to many, I'm high, I'm superior. The deteriorated state of my morals and views is not due to me, but due to my disturbing conceptions or afflictions. In whatever way he is able to should heal me, willingly I shall accept my discomfort involved. But I'm not being healed by him. So why does he belittle me? He meaning So we tend to belittle other sentient beings. So now you're taking the side of the other sentient beings to see how you belittle others, and now the complaining. But I'm not being healed by him, so why does he belittle me? What use are his good qualities to me? Although he has good qualities, he doesn't benefit me. With no compassion for the beings who dwell in the poisonous mouth of evil realms, externally he is proud of his good qualities and wishes to put down the wise, in order that I may excel. He who is regarded as equal with me, now that is equal with me, I shall definitely strive to attain material gain and honor myself, even by such means as verbal dispute. By all means I shall make clear to the entire world all the good qualities I have. Who is I? All sentient beings. You are taking the side of sentient beings. But I shall not let anyone hear of any good qualities or he may have. Who is he? Yourself. Also, I shall hide all my faults. I will be venerated, but not he. I will have a great deal of material gain. I'll be honored, but he shall not. For a long time I should look with pleasure at his being made inferior. He will become the laughingstock at all, regarded among anyone as an object of scorn and derision. It is said that this deluded one is trying to compete with me, but how can he be equal with me in learning, intelligence, form, class of wealth? Thus, upon hearing of my good qualities that have been made well known to all, I shall thoroughly enjoy the satisfaction of the pleasant, tingling sensation that occurs. Even though he has some possessions, if he is working for me, I shall give him just enough to live on, and by force I'll take the rest. Meaning, you are telling yourself, his happiness and comfort will decline, and I shall always cause him harm. For hundreds of times in the cycle of rebirth, he has caused harm to me. Because of, yes, we cause harm to sentient beings. Now, you're taking the side of sentient beings, you are telling that this is what you did to sentient beings. Because of desiring benefit yourself, O mind, all the weariness you have gone through over countless past eons has only succeeded in achieving misery. Therefore, I shall definitely engage myself in working for the benefit of others. Now, it is actually you. For since the words of the Mighty One, the Buddha, are infallible, I shall behold his advantages in the future. If in the past I practiced this act of exchanges of others, so now the Buddha Shantideva is telling us, each one of us, if we have practiced the method of exchanging the ideas of others from the past, by now we should have become Buddha. A situation such as this, devoid of the magnificence of the bliss of the Buddha, could not possibly have come about. Therefore, just as I have come to hold as I these drops of sperm blood of others, likewise through acquaintance, I shall also come to regard all others. Having thoroughly examined myself to see whether I am really working for others or not, I shall steal whatever appears from my body and use it for the benefit of others. I am happy, but others are sad. I am high, though others are low. I benefit myself, but not others. Why am I not envious of myself? I must separate myself from happiness and take upon myself the suffering of others. Why am I doing this now? Why am I doing this now? In this way, I should examine myself for faults. Although others may do something wrong, I should transform it into fault of my own. But should I do something even slightly wrong, I should openly admit it to many people. Okay, this, I remember my teacher, Geshe, when I was a student, maybe I was 21, 22. There was one debater, a very senior debater, and he's excellent in debate skills. And when he was debating in public, I used to feel as a young monk, I used to feel irritated because that he has an air of little arrogance in the debate. I feel a little irritated. Oh no, although he's so good, but then what's the point? He looks so arrogant. So I used to tell this to my teacher, that this happened and he looks arrogant. My teacher said, no. When you're debating, you should activate your mind. You should activate intelligence. For that, sometimes you have this expression, a little bit of haughtiness. That's good. It will help you activate the intelligence. That's good. And then later, in my own debate, I also try to do that. A little bit of arrogance, do that. And because my teacher encouraged me. And then next time I went there, then I reported to my teacher that I did the same thing. My teacher scolded me so badly. Said, who do you think you are? Who do you think? What is there in you to say to have this pride? What is there? He scolded. I was confused. What should I do? When I said that person, this monk is doing, my teacher said, okay. When I said, I'm doing it, he said, who are you? What the hell are you doing? So I was confused. Should I be doing it or not doing it? Then the message that I got is that, shut up when somebody is doing wrong things. Doesn't mean that don't speak up. Don't backbite. Don't backbite. But you don't do it. Simply others are doing doesn't mean that you have to do it. This is a message, big message. Okay. 161. I must separate myself from happiness and take upon myself the suffering of others. Why am I doing this now? In this way, I should examine myself for faults. Although others may do something wrong, I should transform it into the fault of my own. But should I do something even slightly wrong, I should openly admit it to many people. By further describing the renown of others, I should make it outshine my own, just like the lowest kind of servant. I should employ myself for the benefit of all. I should not praise my natural fault-ridden self for some temporary good quality it may have. So it's very important for us that when you do something good, you have some good qualities, not to, just the self, not go for self-praise, self-promotion. This will undermine your bodhicitta practice. 164. I should not praise my naturally fault-ridden self for some temporary good qualities I may have. I shall never let even a few people know of good qualities I may possess. In brief, for the sake of living creatures, may all the harms I have selfishly caused to others descend upon me myself. I should not be dominating and aggressive, acting in a self-righteous, arrogant way. Instead, like a newly married bride, I should be bashful, timid, and restrained. Thus, O mind, you should think and abide in this way, and not act selfishly as before. If under the control of self-cherishing you transgress this code, your selfishness will be your end. However, mind, although you have been advised, if you do not act in like manner, then since all misfortunes will entrust themselves to you, you will only be destined to destruction. The previous time when you could overcome me is now past. Now I see your nature and your faults, meaning their self-centered attitude. And wherever you go, I shall destroy your arrogance, meaning taking side of others and talking to yourself. I should immediately cast aside all thoughts to work for my own sake, and having sold you to others, I shall not become discouraged, but shall offer up all strength to others. If having become unconscientious, I do not give you to all living beings, it is certain that you will deliver me to the guardians of the hells. For ages have you dealt with me like this, and I've suffered long, but now recalling all my grudges, I shall overcome your selfish thoughts. Likewise, if I wish to be happy, I should not be happy with myself. And similarly, if I wish to be protected, I should constantly protect all others. To whatever degree I take great care of this body, to that degree I shall fall into a state of extreme helplessness. Having fallen this way, if my desires are unable to fulfill in by everything upon this earth, what else will be able to satisfy them? Being unable to fulfill them, though desiring to do so, disturbing conceptions, afflictions, and a dissatisfied mind will ensue. But if I do not depend on any material things, the exhaustion of my good fortune will be unknown. Therefore, I shall never create an opportunity for the desire of the body to increase, for whatever I do not grasp as attractive, these are the best of all possessions. In the end of my body will turn to dust. In the end, my body will turn to dust, unable to move by itself. It will be propelled by other forces at the time of death. Why do I grasp this unbearable and unclean form as I? Whether it lives or whether it dies, what use is this machine to me? How is it different from the clot of earth? Or why do I not dispel this pride of it being I and mine, having accumulated suffering for no purpose because of my honoring and serving this body? What use is attachment and anger for this thing that is similar to a piece of wood? Whether I'm caring for my body in this way, or whether it is being eaten by vultures, it is no attachment or hatred towards these things. Why then am I so attached to it? If my body knows no anger when derided and no pleasure when praised, for what reason am I wearing myself out like this? But I want this body of mine. Both it and I are friends, but since all beings want their bodies, why do I not find joy in theirs? Therefore, in order to benefit all beings, I shall give up this body without any attachment, but although it may have many faults, I should look after it while experiencing the results of previous actions. Okay, so this is the message. This is the very comprehensive message that while we have to stop the excessive attachment to the body, but don't neglect this body. This body is very precious. Keep this body healthy, and we can use this body to attain Buddhahood. Because when the body is healthy, you can meditate. When the body is ill, you cannot meditate. So therefore, this body is very precious, but not for the selfish purpose, not for the purpose just to feed this body, but use this body for the benefit of attaining higher goals. 185. So enough of this childish behavior. I shall follow in the steps of the wise, and having recalled the advice concerning conscientiousness, I shall turn away sleep and mental dullness. Just like the compassionate sons of the conqueror. So instead of sons, it should be children. It's a matter of translation. Just like the compassionate children of the conquerors, I shall patiently accept what I have to do. If I do not make a constant effort day and night, when will my misery ever come to an end? Therefore, in order to dispel the obscurations, I shall withdraw my mind from mistaken ways and constantly place it in equipoise upon the perfect object. What's the perfect object? Emptiness and bodhicitta. Okay, good. So now I request the Kedla to read the Guru Puja, page number.
Page number 237. Guru Puja by Panchen Losek Choki Gyatsen. From within great bliss I manifest as Guru Deity. From my body, a profusion of light rays radiates within the 10 directions, transforming the environment and the beings therein. All become most perfectly arrayed with only infinitely pure qualities. From the state of an exalted, white, virtuous mind, all infinite sentient beings, my old mothers and I, from the moment until supreme enlightenment, go for refuge to the Gurus and the Three Jewels. Namo Guru Daya. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Sanghadam. Namo Sanghaya. Namo Guruvayam. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Dharmaya. Namo Sanghaya. Namo Guruvayam. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Dharmaya. Namo Sanghaya. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I shall become a Guru Deity, and thus place all sentient beings into the supreme state of Guru Deity. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I shall quickly, in this very lifetime, attain the state of primordial Buddha Guru Deity. I shall liberate all mother sentient beings from suffering and lead them to the great bliss of Buddhahood. To the end, I shall now practice the profound path of Guru Deity. Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom. pure clouds of outer, inner, and secret offerings, and rich offerings of ritual requirements spread inconceivably, pervading the reaches of space, earth, and sky. In essence, their pristine awareness, in aspect, inner offerings of the various objects of offerings, their function as objects to be enjoyed, to be the six senses, is to generate the extraordinary pristine awareness of emptiness and bliss. In the vast space of indivisible emptiness and bliss, amidst billowing clouds of Samantabhadra's offering, at the crest of which granting tree embellished with leaves, flowers, and fruit, is a lion throne ablaze with precious gems, and which rests a lotus sun and full moon. On this sits my Guru deity, who is kind in three ways. In essence, all Buddhas in aspect of saffron-robed monk, with one face, two arms radiant with a bright smile. His right hand is in the gesture expounding the Dharma. His left is in meditative pose, holds an arms of bowl filled with nectar. He is draped with three lustrous saffron robes, and his head is graced with a pandit's golden hat. In this hat is the all-pervading Lord Vajradhara, with a blue-colored body, one face and two arms holding Vajra and bell, and embracing Vajradhatu Iswari. The delight is the play of inner bliss and emptiness, and adorned with jeweled ornaments and many designs, and are clothed in garments of heavenly skills. It's radiant with thousands of light rays, adorned with the major and minor signs. The Guru sits in the Vajra position, held by a five-colored rainbow. His magnified aggregates are the five Buddhas Sugata, his four elements, the four concerts, his sense powers, energy channels, seniors, Jones, and actual bodhisattvas. The hair of his pose are 21,000 arhats, his limbs are powerful protectors, his light rays directional guardians, lord of wealth, and their attendants, while worldly gods are but cushions for his feet. Surrounding him in their respective orders sits the director of lineage gurus, yidams, hosts of mandala deities, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, heroes, dakini, encircled by a notion of Dhamma protectors. The three doctors of each are marked with the three vajras, from their whom syllables hooked lights radiate, and draws forth the wisdom beings from their natural abodes, and they become inseparably joined. All sources of goodness and well-being throughout the three times, all road to lineage gurus, yidams, three jewels and refuge, heroes, dakinis, and Dhamma protectors, and hosts of guardians, by the power of your compassion, come forth, abide steadfast. Through all the things are totally free of inherent coming and going, still you, embodiment of wisdom, loving kindness, and deed, arose in myriads of manifestations. And according to the disposition of very disciples, O holy saviors, please come from your outrages. Om Guru Bodhisattva Dharma Pala Saparivara Ehi Om Zamba Ho. You, whose compassion grants even the sphere of great bliss, the supreme state of the three bodies in an instant, O Guru, with the jewel-like body Vajradhara, at your lotus feet I prostrate. You are the pristine awareness of all infinite conquerors, appearing with the supreme skillful means in any way that tames. Such in manifesting the appearance saffron-robed monk, I prostrate to your feet, O holy Savior. Principal source of benefit and bliss without exception. You eliminated all faults and their imprints. You are a treasure of myriad jewel-like qualities. I prostrate at your feet, O Venerable Guru. You are the nature of all the Buddhas, teachers of all, including the gods, the souls of the 84,000 pure Dharmas. You tower above the whole host of Aryas. I prostrate you, O benevolent Gurus. To the Gurus of the 3 times and 10 directions, the 3 supreme jewels, and all worthy of homage, with faith, conviction, and all lyrical praise, I prostrate, manifesting forms as numerous as the atoms of the world. O saviors, O venerable Gurus, together with your encounters, I present you with the oceans of clouds of various offerings. For expansive, well-washed vessels, radiant and precious, gently flow 4 streams of purifying nectars, beautiful flowers as blossom on the trees, and exquisitely arranged garlands fill the sky and earth. Drafts of lazuri smoke from fragrant incense below the blue clouds and transform the heavens. From suns and moons, glittering jewels and scores of rampant lights. Cheerful light dispels the darkness of thousands, millions, billions of worlds. Vast seas and scented waters, imbued with the fragrances of saffron, sandalwood, and camphor, swirl out to the horizons. Delicacies of gods and humans, drink and wholesome feasts with ingredients of 100 flavors amassed at Mount Meru. Music from an endless endless variety of virtuous instruments blends into a symphony filling the three realms. Goddess of sensory objects holding symbols of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, pervade all directions. To you, O Savior, treasure of compassion, eminent of supreme field of merit, I present with pure path, Mount Meru and the four continents 1,000,000,000 times over, the seven precious royal emblems, the precious minor symbols and more, perfectly delightful environments and beings, a great treasury of all that goods and humans use or desire, and the shore wish-granting sea, glow lotuses, offering reason from samsaras and nirvana's virtue, both real and lamented. They captivate all hearts, flowering arising from both worldly and supermundane virtues. Of my own and others' three doors, brighten all places. The garden is diffused with myriad of fragrances and Samantabhadra offerings. It's laden with fruit, 3 trainings, 2 stages, and 5 paths. I offer this in order to please you, O venerable gurus. I offer drink of china tea, the color of saffron, reaching 100 flavors with delicate bouquet, the 5 hooks, 5 lamps, and so forth, as purified, transformed, and decreased into a sea of nectar. I even offer illusion-like cones of the youthful splendor and skilled in the 64 arts of love, a host of messenger dakinis, field-born, mantra-born, and simultaneously born. I offer you the wisdom of convergent bliss, unobstructed, the sphere of the true and noble nature of all phenomena, beyond thought and expression, spontaneous and inseparable, the supreme ultimate bodhicitta. I offer all types of potent medicines to cure the 400 afflictions caused by defilements, and I offer myself as a sender to please you. Please keep me in your service as long as space endures. Before those having great compassion, I confess with regret and vow never to repeat whatever non-virtues and evil actions I have done with beginningless time caused others to do, in which I have rejoiced. Through all things are like a dream, lacking the sign of inherent existence. I sincerely rejoice in every virtue that ever arises, at the happiness and joy of all Aryas and ordinary beings. I pray shower rains of vast and profound Dharma from a gathering of million clouds of perfect wisdom and compassion to grow, sustain, and propagate a garden of moonflowers, of benefit and bliss for limitless beings. Though Yogavarja body is subject to neither birth nor death, but as vessel to the mighty King and unification, please abide forever according to my wishes, not passing beyond sorrow until the end of samsara. I dedicate the collection of white virtues thus created to sentient beings that they may be inseparably cared for in all future lives by venerable gurus, kind in the 3 ways, and they attain the Vajra unification. You are the source of virtue, an immense ocean of moral discipline, and brimming over in the treasure of jewels everlasting. Masters, second king, sages clad in saffron, O elder holder of Vajra, I make requests to you. You have the 10 qualities to make a suitable guide to teach the path of those gone to bliss. Lord of Dharma, respecting the concurrence, O Mahayana Guru, I make requests to you. With the 3 doors well subdued, wise, patient, and honest, honorable, knowing the tantras and the rituals, having both sets of 10 principles, skilled in drawing and teaching, O foremost Vajra holder, I make requests to you. You unmistakingly show the good way to the Sagatas, and the untruly immigrators untamed by countless past Buddhas, the beings of the degenerate age, difficult to curb. O compassionate Savior, I make requests to you. At the time of the setting of the sun, the sage's teaching, the enact of the deeds of the conqueror, for the many migrators who lack a Savior, O compassionate Savior, I request to you. Even a single hair from the pores of your body is praised as a field of merit for us, higher than the conquerors of the 3 times and 10 directions. O compassionate Savior, I make prostrations to you, adorned by the precious wools and the 3 bodies of Sagatas, from an intricate web of appearances. With skillful means, you manifest in an ordinary form to lead all beings. O compassionate Savior, I make requests to you. Your aggregates, elements, sensory, base, and limbs are in the nature of 5 Sagatas, their consort, bodhisattvas, and wrathful protectors. O essence of the 3 jewels, Supreme Guru, I make requests to you. You're in the coincidence of 10 million mandala cycles, arising from the play of omniscient, pristine awareness, all-pervading Lord of 100 Buddha families, foremost Vajradhara, O Lord of primordial unity, I make request to you. Unobscured, inseparable from the play of innate bliss, the nature of all things, pervading everything in motion and rest, Samantabhadra, free of beginning and end, actual ultimate bodhicitta, I make request to you. You're the Guru, you're the Idam, you're the Dakinis and protectors. From now until enlightenment, I shall seek no refuge other than you. In this life, the bardo, and future lives, hold me with your hook of compassion. Save me from the fears of samsara and nirvana. Grant all cities, be my constant friend, and guard me from the interferences. By the virtue of having thus requested 3 times from the seats of my Guru's body, speech, and mind, white, red, and dark blue nectars raised, stream forth one by one, and then all together into my own 3 places, and one by one, and then all together they absorb purging 4 obscurations, and I receive the 4 pure empowerments and seeds of the 4 bodies. A replica of the Guru happily dissolves into me and grants inspiration. Tsok offering. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Pure clouds of outer and sacred offerings, objects that blind us closer and fields of vision, pervade the riches of space, earth, and sky, spreading and beyond the range of thought. In essence, their pristine awareness, in aspect the inner offerings and the various objects of offering. Their function is to generate extraordinary pristine awareness of emptiness and bliss as objects to be enjoyed by the 6 senses. And Maho is the grand play of the pristine awareness, all places are Vajra fields, and all structures majestic Vajra places, ocean clouds of Samantabhadra's offering will forth. Of all objects are imbued with the glories of all wishes, all beings are actual virus and varings. They are not even the word impurity or flow. All is but pure. Whom, from a state of Dharmakaya, in which mental fabrications are stilled, on top of turbulent wind of blazing fire, upon the crown of tripped of the human heads, with the proper human skull cup, the ingredients brilliantly appear one by one. Placed above them are Om Ahum, each sparkling with brilliant color. The wind becomes turbulent, fires flare, the ingredients melt. From their boiling tumble forth copious vapors. From the 3 letters, profusions of light rays radiate out in 10 directions, drawing back the 3 rajas with nectars that dissolve individually into 3 letters. This melts in the nectar and blend with the ingredients, purifying, transforming, increasing them. Emaho, becoming an ocean of glittering with splendors of all that could be wished for. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. All whose roots and lineage gurus, yidams and ghosts of deities, 3 jewels of refuge, viewers, dakinis, dharmapalas, and guardians of the teachings, I request you, who are in the nature of compassion, to appear and come to the offering site. Place your radiant feet firmly upon the elegant throne formed of jewels, and as an ocean of clouds of outer, inner, and secret offerings, grant us, our striving in the supreme realization, the powerful attainments that we all wish for. Ho, the ocean-like Tsok offering of contaminated nectar, blazed by samadhi, mantra, and mudra, we offer in order to please you, hosts of lineage gurus, Om Ahum, content by your sport with all the splendors that could be wished for. Emaho, please leave for a great rain of blessings. Blessed by concentration, mantra, and mudra, this ocean-like Tsok offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight assemblies of root and lineage gurus, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great rain of blessings. Blessed by concentration, mantra, and mudra, this ocean-like Tsok offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight assemblies of yidams, deities, and attendants, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall great. Blessed by concentration, mantra, and mudra, that ocean-like Tsok offering of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight assemblies of the most precious jewel, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all you wish. Please, I beg, let fall a great. Blessed by concentration, mantra, and mudra, this ocean-like Tsok offerings of spotless nectar, I offer for your delight as my protectors, satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all. I beg with holy great. Blessed by concentration, mantra, and mudra, this spotless nectar, your delight assemblies of mother sentient beings, satisfied by enjoying the abundance of all you wish. Please this as
Bema.
offering Tsok to the Master. Look, Venerable, a great circle of Tsok, you who has followed into the tracks of the Sagatas of the three times, and the source of all powerful attainments. Since we arise, there is all great hero who has forsaken the conceptual mind. Please enjoy continuously this circle of Tsok. Allah ho. With the nature inseparable from the three Vajras, I visualize myself as a Guru Idam, his nectar and immaculate wisdom knowledge without stirring the body from bodhicitta. I drink to safety from deities dwelling in my body. What great bliss! O Tathagata Buddhas, Vir, heroes, yoginis, dakas, and dakinis, to all of you I make the request. O Hiruka who delights in supreme bliss, who attends the mudra experiencing bliss, please, by enjoying yourself in accordance with the rites, join with the innate bliss and emptiness. May the hosts of the stainless dakinis look with love and compassion and
Hello. Okay, so we have this Chiskila is holding the nectar. So this is just a black tea with a little bit of sweetened black tea, and she will give 1 spoon to each one of us. And in your right and left hand, whatever is fine. You take it, drink it, and as you feel the taste, it's sweet. Good. Okay. So as you taste the sweet, just imagine that this is the bliss of the purity where all mental defilements are gone and the purity is experienced. And then meanwhile, think of the emptiness of this, how even that is like a dream, subjectively real, objectively is empty. So union of bliss and emptiness. So this is what we do, and then followed by the Dogala, the reasons. So again, you take it and feel the taste, the sweetness, like the bliss of the purity. And again, think of the emptiness, is union, bliss, and